Welcome to podcast 43. Yes, 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 maybe, but yes.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of podcast 43. This is our first post-Christmas episode, although we're recording it quite a few days before, but we are joined with a lovely guest and friend of the show, Emily Minnick. So thanks for coming on, Emily.
Hello, I'm so excited to finally be on the show after months of me drunkenly being like, I gotta come on the show and talk about this movie, and it changes every time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm very happy that you've decided on Bound, because it's perfect timing too. I don't even know if that was your plan at all. But as we're recording this episode on the 22nd of December, the Matrix Resurrections is now out, and of course that is the new film from Lana Wachowski of the Wachowski sisters, who up until I believe they've been always a duo up until this new film, but this was their first. We were talking about their first film, Bound, from 1996, and I guess I'll let you. I guess I'll let you kick it off, Emily. What do you like so much about this film? Why did you pick it?
I remember watching it for the first time because one of my friends said that she wanted to go as Quirky for Halloween, and I was like, who the hell is that? And she was like, I cannot believe you've never seen this movie before. This is everything that's your taste. It's dark, it's grungy, it's 90s gays. Like, how could I not love that? But I found it like really subversive just for like a lesbian movie. I think just visual aesthetics and like pitting character types against each other. You have some of the normal stuff, but there's like an authenticity that it feels pretty rare when it comes to like good lesbian stories. I think I was also coming out of seeing Ammonite for the first time too, and so I think how much I hated Ammonite and how cool Bound was really solidified how much I really enjoyed this movie. It's like a gay episode of The Sopranos, and that was like the one thing that The Sopranos was missing, was like good like queer lady content. So I think that's really what drew me into this movie when I watched it for the first time.
Oh, and interesting that you brought up, other films about lesbians. But like I also had a discussion with somebody recently actually about how most films about lesbians always tend to be downers. Like it's always like kind of a really, really sad ending where it's like they're never together and all that. And I also appreciate that this movie doesn't fall into that. I'm not gonna fully give things away, but it's not just like the Portrait of a Lady on Fire or
God. As much as I love a good cry, I love a good slow burn of like women developing a passion for each other in like the most intimate way possible by studying the intricacies of each other and just falling into this deep infatuation. There's something really hot about this movie that they're like, yeah, you're hot as hell. Let's fucking move in together and steal all this money. That was amazing to me. Like, because the pacing of it just changed so quickly from what a lot of lesbian-based movies are. The fact that this wasn't a sad movie really I just found it like very subversive. Like you could tell, I don't think the Wachowski sisters were out yet when this was made, right?
No,
I don't think that they were.
No, they weren't out.
I don't know the timeline of that.
Because I don't think they, and I could be wrong, but I don't think they transitioned till like late 2010s, right?
I believe it was Lily that was out first, and then Lana followed afterwards. So it wasn't like both they both were out at the same time.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's also like it's also just not really about like there's the aspect of them being lesbians, but it's also not like, oh, we need to hide this aspect of our personality. It's just like Jennifer Tilly is just so like cavalier about it to to her husband, Caesar, played by Joe Pantoliano. Yeah.
Of all Italian names, that one was really intense.
Yeah, it was. I mean, also he's in The Matrix too. So, that guy. But he's great in this.
Wait, who's he playing the Matrix again?
Cypher.
Oh, I'm pulling a huge blank.
He's the dude that's like does all the coding and stuff, and then like turns on Trinity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the same
Forgot
guy.
about that.
Okay.
I forgot Joe Pantoliano was in that.
Got it. Jesus.
Or just like I was also thinking about how like just how cool Gina Gershon is in this movie. She's just really cool. Like,
so yeah, no, of course she has this like crazy like smirk. It looks like her mouth extends forever, and I love that about her. I love that for her. I'll go ahead and just say my favorite scene, like I nearly died when they had this scene talking about the labris. And that's embarrassing that I don't know the correct pronunciation, but like I was like, oh my god, it's that tattoo. And she's like, I like your tattoo, do you want to see mine? And then plucking like is like stroking her boob, like, are you surprised I know what that is? And I was like, that was the moment. Like this was a movie made for an audience. It's not pandering. It has like a built-in like innuendo that wasn't meant for mainstream audiences. And like even though the Wachowski sisters weren't publicly out yet, you could tell that this was made with a specific frame of mind of people who probably like privately identified as like queer women, you know. Like you can definitely tell the difference in this like portrayal and chemistry.
Because it doesn't, I never found it to be like, I don't know, just too exploitive. Like I always, it's very kind of just passionate is just the only word that kind of really comes to mind with like these scenes of these just two women just kind of, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like in the moment you're kind of like, this is over the top, like the way that they're just like seconds away from like going down on each other. But then you're kind of like, this is exactly what high school lesbian relationships are like. They're like, you're like the most beautiful person I've ever met, and 4 days from now we're going to kill your boyfriend and move across the country. And I just spoiled the ending.
Yeah, because
it's okay.
It's
well, sorry everyone.
No, you're fine. No, I can't tell you how many times me and Chris have gone you know, I think it is important to, you know, kind of talk about the film as a whole. And I like to have the idea that when we do announce a feature film, people almost treat it like a book club. I don't know how many people do, but hopefully they would watch the film and then listen to the episode. But I think that's kind of what me and Chris's hopes are. And you know, but I don't know how many people actually like do that. But I think it is kind of, it does give weight to your argument, as it does kind of hit what you're talking about on the head. I think that's a really good way to describe it too. And it does feel very like cinematic, and a lot of the in the way that a lot of like great, maybe romances in film feel like too. It's very like Chris and Emily, like what you were saying, it's very passionate and it's very in the moment, and it feels like we have to do it now, because we don't know what's going to happen, in a few days and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I think because this was the era when rom-coms were really huge. And so I think it hits all the same beats that like maybe like a heterosexual based rom-com does, but like fully with it outside of that language, like this isn't as comedy based, but like all those same notes of like building up that tension of a relationship and like testing that sort of commitment to each other. But I think talking about genre, do you guys consider this to be a neo-noir? Because I was kind of surprised that that's how it's classified, to be honest.
I would say I classify it as a neo-noir. I think it kind of like hits all the, I mean, it's very pulpy film. It like has that like visceral just violence just in so many scenes, and then the whole like mob ties and the whole I mean, I guess it's like a neo-noir kind of, I would say it's like a small scale neo-noir heist movie is a good way of framing it, because it's like everything takes place in mostly an apartment block, but it's like they're trying to steal a large sum of money from Jennifer Tilly's husband. And I just think it kind of, that's just kind of how I'd probably describe it.
Right.
I'd have to, because I'm no, I'll admit my weakness. I don't know specifically what classifies a neo-noir. So when watching this, it just felt like a very, very good thriller to me, and a very good like action thriller, honestly, because I feel like it hits it hits those moments of tension that you see kind of unravel in the rest of the Wachowskis' filmography. And I think it's insane that, not trying to jump too far ahead of myself, but I think it's really interesting that they did this, and I believe they did The Matrix right after it, right? I want to say, because I think this is their only film before they just started making like blockbusters and everything. I just think, because you can definitely see the highly stylized shots and scenes, like in particular, I thought the sequence in which Caesar is shot, because basically there's a scene where Caesar dumps out all this white paint on this floor, and then he ends up getting shot while standing in the paint. And it's such an amazing shot, and they did it so well. And the blood like popping out of the white paint, it looks amazing. And like having seen most of their blockbusters and then watching this, I think it's really interesting to start to see like the seeds kind of growing. And I also get like amazed just by how quickly they were able to like make a mega blockbuster like right after this. Right. Even though I feel like Matrix is kind of it's like a weird movie to call a blockbuster, because it doesn't really fit into it captures that emotion of the blockbuster and the intensity to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like having that sort of like vision ingrained to you from like such an early point, that was like probably one of like the best shots of the movie. But like all throughout, I was just like impressed with like just the overall look from it. But Chris, what were you saying before?
I was saying that it was I think it kind of qualifies as a neo-noir, especially with the shadows and how the shots are framed. Like it feels very neo-noir-ish.
I felt like they didn't frame Corky as the main character enough to like make this like the story of following this or that
protagonist, noir protagonist.
Or as like that protagonist that is like sort of thrown into this. It kind of is, but I think you kind of lose that a little bit just with a lot of the scenes that were very like Jennifer Tilly heavy because
there's a lot
tied
of
to the
yeah.
mafia. So I don't know. It yes and no. I just felt like this was maybe like a little bit more deconstructed.
I mean, yeah, maybe I wouldn't say it's like probably fully fits into the box of neo-noir, I guess. But for the most part, you can see that there. And then also I felt, I don't know, the ending felt very Thelma and Louise. I mean, I've never seen Thelma and Louise, but that's what I assume. And I just felt that when they're driving off. I mean, from what I've seen of the movie, which I guess I don't know. I'd be interested in checking out that movie, but also
Another episode.
We'll go deep on Ridley Scott. Other than, I mean, me, I feel like me and you have already kind of talked about Ridley quite a bit, actually.
And particularly this year as well.
Yeah, particularly this year.
We'll do Tony Scott first.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Listen,
Yeah.
Emily, Man on Fire is a masterpiece.
That might be one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen a 15-minute segment of before I told Colin to turn it off. That might be it. Yeah. He would be a great guest to have for that.
Oh, don't worry. We're that's
He's on
already
the list.
That's already on the in talk. We're already in talks with Colin about Tony Scott. I guess to get back to Bound, did you feel like, how did you feel about how did you feel about Caesar as a character?
He's a lovely guy.
He's a great guy.
You know, I only very recently finished The Sopranos, and I have to say, Ralphie was like my least favorite character over the entire show.
What?
Yeah, no, I just could not stand that character. But he felt a little cartoony in this to me. I really I love when I probably shouldn't say that on here. I'm not gonna say anything that'll get anyone in trouble. But his enunciation, I say, was really weird. I think he was still kind of coming up with that accent at the time, because it like bordered into like Midwestern, almost Canadian at times, which I thought was really funny. But I felt like that character was like a little all over the place, which was funny, but at the same time, like I needed like a stronger villain. Like I felt like he was easily overcomable.
Yeah, that's true. He kind of is a little too soft in a lot of ways, where like he'll kind of fall into Jennifer Tilly's plan a little too easily. But also at the same time, I think that could be his purpose, as kind of being this kind of like low level mobster that's like that definitely thinks that he's definitely is very boastful about what his position is in this world. Like he thinks he's higher up on the totem pole than he really is. That makes sense.
Yeah, he does have that sort of like grandiose sense of self that because like right after everything went down with the other guy, when they killed the other guy, he was just like kept hyping it up like he was the guy calling the shots. But
and then you learn that he's like third in the chain of command. He's not even like top brass at all. He's just another pawn in like the mafia's game.
It was interesting to me that like I think the entire mafia premise was definitely second to the lesbian angle, which I appreciated. Like I'd rather have like a full-fledged like gay story within the sort of you sort of understood what was going on with the mafia aspect of it. It's like this will work for me. I can deal with this. But yeah, like the fact that like they just like come in for 5 seconds and like they don't even they don't talk to each other because the boss doesn't even speak English, and like he flew in to retrieve this money and was about to immediately fly back. I was like, I don't think they make flights that fast.
No, they don't.
They really don't. Where was this movie like set?
Chicago.
I thought the boss was from Chicago and that they were flying out.
No, because the cops had Chicago on their armband. Yeah.
Well, that was lost on me, but
Well, this movie bleeds Chicago more than a John Hughes movie, Emily. I don't know how you didn't notice.
I think how did you guys feel about like the mafia angle of this story? Do you think that like worked for you? Was it sort of
Well, I love a good mafia story. You know me.
Right.
I full disclaimer to listeners, I had a Italian mafia themed birthday party. I idolize, not that I idolize the characters, but I idolize the idea of mafia movies. So I thought it was pleasant that was the angle that this film, or that was a large part of this film, was that Jennifer Tilly's husband was in the mafia, and it was about him getting the dropping off getting the money, getting $2 million, and handing it off to people, all good things, and then also kind of a good excuse to have pretty cool shootouts, and also just people yelling at each other that are Italians. So yeah, I wasn't, but I also appreciated that it did take a backseat, and you were able to kind of appreciate the relationship between Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly more than the mafia, and it was just kind of a catalyst for them to kind of live out their fantasy of being together. So
yeah, it was kind of like magical realism almost, where
it was kind of like
not super plausible, but I'm willing to believe you.
Especially at the end where Gina Gershon's like, I figured we needed a getaway car, and she just like unlocks it, and they get in the car, and then she's like, what's different between me and you? And Jennifer Tilly goes, no, nothing. And then they hold hands and they drive off into the sunset. That's magical realism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, yeah, it's magical realism that the relationship lasts that long, where they're not married yet. Yeah, because like the timeline of this movie is insane. Like, Corky meets this girl, and within days she has decided, I will steal all this money for you.
I will die for you.
I will die for you.
Because I know you do the same for me.
Because it's very, like you said, it's very high school. It's a very high school relationship.
Yeah, because I mean, they don't really go a lot into the character Violet's like backstory about whether or not she had come to terms with her lesbian or at least queer sexuality like way before she met Caesar, or is this something that she's developed after the fact, or like learned while she was in the relationship?
Well, she says she does say that she's like, they've seen me at gay bars or something.
I was under the impression that like that guy had seen her like while she was dating Caesar, that like that had been happening. I don't know.
Yeah, that could have been the case, where it's just like she could have been just kind of, you think that maybe she could have been just like trying to play up like that part of her identity, to like act like, oh, I know about this. I've been around here before, but like she's actually just like new and just kind of smitten by Gina.
Surprised what I know what that is. Oh my god, that's such a good line.
Yeah. exactly. Like it tracks with her character.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, go on. What were you gonna say?
No, that's pretty much all. Yeah.
I was just thinking about how great all these outfits are. I was just starting to gush about how good Corky's outfits were with like the tank tops and like the paint splatter, like huge, like paint splattered trousers. Sorry, got distracted there. But yeah, no, everyone was just really fitted out in this movie. Like Jennifer Tilly, like they were all dressed in black.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciated, is that the gay women weren't color coded. They weren't hair coded. That's like a big thing. Think about, oh yeah, like
hair coded, as in like their hair is like dyed like a different color, just so it's like as a signifier for
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because there's usually like the really experienced, knowledgeable brunette and the dumb blonde, quote unquote.
Oh yeah.
The less experienced, more innocent one. And in that case, it wasn't true at all, because they both had dark hair. And they both, yeah, like there was obviously the more masculine, feminine presentation to their aesthetics, but I think that it played off as super natural and not like really intensely put on. And plus, like, she had like this like crazy little sweater shirt thing that looked so good. I was just amazed by everyone.
Wait, Emily, I just realized what you said about the dumb. Well, no, it's like you said the brunette inexperienced one, right?
No, the brunette is always the more experienced one.
Well, I just realized that Carol is a flip on that, is a total inversion of that.
See, this is gonna sound really bad, but I've blocked out all memories I have of Carol.
Oh.
Because I didn't watch it until my freshman year of college. And I went to, what is it? There's Mel Hall, Lipscomb. Okay. So there was like a group chat with Mel and Lipscomb gay people in it. And one of the girls said that they were doing a screening of Carol in their dorm. And I thought it was going to be like a big thing. So I went with my roommate and we're like, we're going to have fun. And then it ended up being me, my roommate, and the girl. And then the girl's roommate, who was not gay, but was just like laying on her bed the entire time.
Oh.
I literally had my friend call me pretending to be my mom so that I could leave.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry that memory got in the way of that's a great film. I think that's probably the second best Todd Haynes after Safe. So I hope that one day you'll be able to get past that horrible, awkward memory associated with that movie.
But you know what? I'm tired of a slow burn. I'm sorry. I'm tired of sad, slow burns. So if it's one of those, I'm not touching it anymore. We've entered into our bound era.
That's
We're
true.
no longer bound by slow burn romances that end poorly. So,
yeah.
That's my new mantra going into 2022. I'm no longer in my slow burn era.
All about Desert Hearts.
Yes. Oh my god. But hey, there's another example of that, the hair typing.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Matrix, the new Matrix might have that, I'm afraid. But I don't know.
That's okay. They get a pass because they already did their subversive thing.
This is true. This is very true. It'd be kind of funny if we covered New Year's resolutions with in terms of film on the best of 2021 episode. That would be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we have anything else? Do we have anything else we want to say on this film in specific?
Mm. There was some crazy, like, I don't know, ADR, like Foley sounds in this that I thought were just like so silly. I tried to write them down. There was like the phone call one. I just needed to get that out there because to make sure you guys also felt the same way about it. But like there's like the electricity sound going through the phone. I thought that was so funny. But there's like
I
another
kind
one.
of I kind of like that. I get where you're coming from. It was funny, but it was like that also reminded me of like the later like Wachowski films of like, you know how like they'll do a lot of edits and then they'll have like accompanying sounds to those edits. And I also kind of took that as like they were like connected by like a special force as well. But that's like a, I don't know. But that was an interesting thing because it's kind of like a, oh no, I was gonna say it feels like a relatively quiet film, but now I'm thinking about it, it definitely is not. So I don't think that's a super accurate way for it. But
But
I
it
do
does
like
feel
the
pretty stark, you know?
yeah. I was gonna say I do like the payoff of they do a lot of what would be the best way to put it? I do like the payoff of like the walls are thin. I do like how that's played around with a lot, especially like in the third act. Um but yeah. So
Yeah. I think one more thing that would sort of kind of hit more on that like neo-noir thing is like how do you interpret Jennifer Tilly's character Violet, as far as do you see her being authentic or do you see her as a master manipulator? Because I don't know, on the second time through I kind of got the impression that there's a chance this is all an act and that she was planning on pulling this entire scheme with the guy who got killed. And so when that plan fell through, she saw Corky as a new avenue to get what she wants. Because, like, obviously, Violet is like the most intelligent person in this movie. And I could
Oh yeah.
very easily see this, like, sort of being just playing off of, I mean, Corky just got out of jail, you know, that girl's hungry.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
was just something I picked up on this time. Wanted to see what you guys thought about it.
does so if I'm remembering correctly, the earring scene happens, right? And then they kind of they flirt and they embrace, but they don't have sex till like after the man shows up, correct?
Yes.
no, yeah, they don't.
Okay. So then I can definitely see where you're coming from because I was gonna say if they had already kind of like
Consummated the
consummate, yeah, then I don't know, but I still agree, like because she's super like always kind of like two steps ahead, it feels like in a lot of instances. And I mean, I could see her using Caesar to move up, like
Yeah.
just because of the status that he has. I can see her kind of using him, and it's clear that she was never into him for the love for
Right.
Caesar. I
Mhm.
mean, she's super apparent about it. She openly like lets other people flirt with her in front of Caesar, even knowing how it makes him feel. So I can completely see that. Yeah.
I agree with I also can see that where it's just like Jennifer Tilly just kind of could be seen if you're saying that this is a neo noir, then Jennifer Tilly could easily be seen as the femme fatale in that way, where it's like
Right.
she's just like this incredibly desirable, really hot woman that that Gina Gershon's like, I just got out of, I was in prison for 5 years and I'm willing to go back in there just for Jennifer Tilly.
I mean, would you not do the exact same thing for Jennifer Tilly?
I mean, I
Um,
remember as a kid watching Liar Liar and going, man, Jennifer Tilly, very.
yeah. But yeah, especially like with her on the phone call, I thought that like was her scene. Really, when it's like you're losing them, here's what you need to tell them, and she completely dictated the entire scene and completely transformed like the crisis of the moment. So I don't know. I like on this time around, they also like I had like a brief thought early on that maybe the previous tenant that Quirky is working on his appliance or doing the maintenance on, maybe he was previously involved, but I think that one was just sort of a fleeting idea, just trying to build off of like that conspiracy. But I think, yeah, I think there's a distinct possibility that Jennifer Tilly is not what we think she is.
Have you ever seen? Wait, have you ever seen any of the Child's Play movies? Are you? Because Jennifer Tilly in Bride of Chucky, Jennifer Tilly is Chucky's wife. And then in Seed of
That makes
Chucky,
perfect sense.
in Seed of Chucky, she reprises her role as Chucky's wife, and she also plays Jennifer Tilly in the universe of the Chucky movies. It's very interesting. I'm not saying it's good, but
yeah, I was gonna say.
The rapper Redman is also has a major role in Seed of Chucky. Yeah. But
what year was that put out?
2004.
Okay. So then like
there was like
that a short-lived fad where like is that the right word? Is fad the short term? I don't know. Was there a short-term part where they just were trying to put rappers in different horror franchises?
I suppose.
Because Halloween got it too.
That's right, Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, Wachowski's first directorial effort was just a very, very solid, neo-noir film. And I'm honestly kind of sad that they haven't kind of returned to these more kind of minimalistic roots as directors. It seems like they've pretty much only strayed into the more kind of sci-fi type realm, or blockbuster type of
I
films.
could, on the kind of current trajectory that they're going, I could definitely see them returning to something more small scale. And I only say that I don't know if we should like get into it now, but like Matrix Resurrections is a huge, and I know that's only Lana, but I know that Lily did not want to do Matrix because I read into it. I know me and you kind of talked about this the other night, Chris, because I was wondering why she didn't want to come back for Matrix. And basically she said that unfortunately, like a few years ago, they lost their father. And then a few years after that, they lost their mother. And that was all happening shortly after both of their transitions, I believe. And so, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to lose both your parents and then go through a major life change like that. And so I completely understand for her why it would be very difficult to return to something that you were doing so long ago when you have a lot of memories associated during that time. And so she said that it would be like getting into old shoes again, and it just wouldn't feel right. Where Lana said for her to return for the Matrix, it was more comforting for her. And like the message of Matrix Resurrections, sorry, is it Resurrection or I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Resurrections,
but it's very like it's like an anti-blockbuster. And I think it's amazing that it came out like a few days after No Way Home, because and I'm just kind of sourcing, but David Ehrlich wrote, not that I agree with him a lot, but he did write a good review about it, saying that this was like the antidote. If and I'm quoting him, if No Way Home is poison, this is the antidote. And I find that to be a very moving kind of thing. And like the whole message of the film, it very much embraces love and like feeling and trying to, push forward in the face of kind of the whole world ending, or it already have, or the world has already ended, and kind of facing those emotions and stuff like that. And so I can definitely see them moving to something more smaller, and something more comfortable, to where, Lily would want to return, because I'm sure that they both want to work again together. And it kind of just sounds like, at least for this movie, Lily just wasn't comfortable, and Lana had the idea and she wanted to move forward with it. But I don't get the idea that they're done yet. And I really hope they don't, because I really do find them to be very like unique voices, like
Oh yeah.
in film. And I feel like they have been ever since their inception. And it's so weird, like um I don't know, like I because I watched Speed Racer recently. I was trying to get through all the Wachowski films before we got to this one, and I'm only missing Jupiter Ascending and Cloud Atlas, I believe. But when I was watching Speed Racer, my first thought when I got done with it is it's so nice and refreshing to see like a pair of directors truly in a lane of their own. Like I don't think really anybody else is making films like the Wachowski sisters. And I think it's great that they've like expanded into doing TV, and they did that with Netflix. And so they have shown a proficiency in like two different mediums at this point, in film. And so like I really don't want them to stop. And I think they're great. So
Yeah, we need some more ladies rock.
Yeah, they are
yeah.
very, very ladies rock-esque. But yeah, I also really enjoy Speed Racer. I haven't seen I wouldn't say I still need to watch the other two Matrix sequels before I go see Resurrections. But
I do think because I watched them like a year ago, and I unfortunately kind of forgot a lot of the major plot points. So I did watch a recap thing. And the new film does do a good job of kind of rejogging your memory of those previous films when you need it to. But I still think they are kind of like, I don't know. I would probably watch them, but if not, you can watch a recap. But I mean, they're interesting films. I've always found them to be super entertaining.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, they're just so, it's very much of the Emily. Wait, have you seen the movie Hackers? I feel like I've had a discussion.
Yes. Holy crap. I love Hackers. That was one of the suggestions I have for my podcast episode. Yeah, I would say Hackers is, I don't know, like Y2K cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But with more cynicism and less sincerity, because I think a big thing about cyberpunk is that it's like a sincere way of, interpreting what the future is going to look like. And this is, I don't know, Hackers definitely just like scoffed at like anyone living beyond the moment, which I appreciate, because that is a time capsule unlike anything else. And
Matthew Lillard has some of the best fits ever.
Oh my God, I was looking up Hackers because I wanted to get the Angelina Jolie haircut. And now my entire Pinterest is just pictures of Matthew Lillard. and I can't stop it because I keep clicking them because they're great. But yeah, when he has like they're almost like Willie Nelson, like pigtails and stuff, and like the tiniest sunglasses, those incredible fits consistent throughout the film.
I would say, like, if I could describe Hackers to people that haven't seen it, it's like that dance club at the beginning of The Matrix, but like for the whole movie. And like and it's super cool. And I also want to thank one of my professors for making me watch it for my detective fiction literature class. He was like, we're watching Hackers. That was like our assignment for the week, so I would have never watched it.
Yeah, it was funny. So when I was on my last show, the set deck PA is like, you should watch this crazy movie called Hackers. And I was looking at the description of it and all the character names. Matthew Lillard's character's name is Serial Killer, but like the edible cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're working with in that movie. And it gets better.
I've heard so many great things, and I still need to get around to it.
Yes. But yeah, I think that's definitely different. Yeah, kind of considering the Wachowski sisters, their story, like their story reference, I think is a lot different than anything that I've seen anything else, because it's it doesn't really fall into that cyberpunk because it's a lot cleaner, but it has a lot more depth than I think a lot of stuff is nowadays. Yeah. I'm coming at this like from a very limited perspective because I have not seen a lot of their movies.
I mean, if you've seen the Matrix trilogy, that's a big bulk of them,
right?
Yeah.
So would
including
you say
now too?
Would you say that the new Matrix is worth seeing in theaters? Because I have seen it popping up on my HBO Max.
Yeah.
Enticing. I don't think it's as bombastic as maybe the other ones are. Like, I went to go see it in IMAX, and it definitely does it does have some great action sequences. I don't know if it's going to necessarily like itch the same, like, I don't know if your action itch is going to be itched the same way it was with the original trilogy. I know it's kind of a weird way to go about saying it, but like it's a very talk heavy film.
Okay.
And the script is pretty dense. And like there are a lot of like exposition drops where it goes on for like, there's like some lengthy sequences in the film where they are like like talking a lot. So at the beginning that was kind of hard to like get my head around, because I had trouble understanding what people were saying sometimes. But I'm a huge proponent of like seeing stuff in theater like anyway, and like I love like the IMAX experience, and I wore my IMAX shirt to see an IMAX movie. I think that's the first time I've done that in real life, so that was kind of funny for me, because I think the bit of having an IMAX shirt is funny. But I would say, because that the third act is pretty, I think would be very cool to watch on like a big screen.
Okay.
But I also know that with things with the pandemic kind of possibly steaming back up in an unfortunate way, but I mean, who's to say right now? But if you don't feel comfortable, please watch it on HBO Max, because I think like right now more than ever, and this could be all reactionary of me, but we need to give some other movies some support, and so if I think this movie just needs to be supported. I'm so scared that like nobody is gonna go see it because I just keep seeing like flocks of people seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, which is good. I know we talked about this, not to bring it back up.
Well, no, it's
Um,
it's not good fault. We don't need to beat her.
no, I was just saying like it's good for the theaters that, and like I'm surprised, like I legitimately think I haven't seen this type of like continuous support by an audience for a movie since I was a kid. I like been driving around town recently and I see like the same theaters like packed, which is insane. Normally you just see that for the opening, or I feel like for me at least recently, like the opening weekend for a big movie, it's packed, you know, sure, and like give it a week and it dies down. But I feel like this one has really been like, I mean, like the whole theater is packed. Like there's lines out the doors now, which is insane. That never happens where me and Chris live. Um, you know, so I like it's so foreign to me. I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, which thank God for the pickup ticket kiosk things, because I would be fucked, you know, if they didn't have any of that stuff, you know. But yeah, no, mhm.
I'm hoping that the line will be just as long for Licorice Pizza when it opens this Christmas.
Well, that's the sad thing, Chris. A lot of theaters are canceling those showings and opening up more for, at least from what I've been reading from film Twitter, which I don't know how reliable of a source that is, but apparently a lot of theaters are unfortunately canceling those screenings. And to that I say, to hell with you. Please no.
Yeah.
Licorice Pizza is a movie that's very good, and it should not be being closed off for more screenings of Spider-Man. There are enough screenings of Spider-Man, trust me. And so I know.
Trust me, I know.
I know. If you check Fandango, there's like 10 fucking screenings every day. That's for one screening. You're not talking about IMAX. You're not talking about open captions. There's enough. Trust me. And like, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, you know, hopefully it gets that wide release that I really hope that it does.
I guess on that note, we can just, you know, do the normal. I know that was a bit of a tangent, but you know,
sorry,
I'd
bad.
recommend Bound. You know, I think this movie fucking raw.
I recommend Bound. I recommend Speed Racer. I recommend Matrix Resurrections. Let's go. That's me.
And I'm guessing Emily would also recommend it since she was the one that wanted us to watch it.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely, I think that everyone needs to see that. And, like, how hard is it to sell a movie that's about a gay neo-noir mafia movie? You know, like that's
awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can take our ad break and then we'll be back. So transitioning to the second half of the episode, we're gonna just be talking about things that we've watched recently that aren't new releases, because me and Fulton got all of those out of the way for the most part. I didn't get to check out the new Aaron Sorkin film, Being the Ricardos, which is now on Amazon Prime. And I bet it's gonna be lovely. I've heard only horrible things. But you know, Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem can do no wrong. It's only Aaron Sorkin's fault for that movie being as bad as it may be. But I'll hopefully be able to talk about that later. And I guess the first thing that I wanted to talk about is I watched Michelangelo Antonioni's Zabriske Point the other day, and I thought it was one of the best things that I've seen all year for new watches. It's pretty much like hits all the things that I love in cinema. You know, it's a film about like New Left, you know, 60s activists, and then it's just also got like a really killer soundtrack. It's like all like Pink Floyd instrumentals, Grateful Dead. Roy Orbison does the theme song to the film.
Wow.
Yeah, it's stacked with people, and it's just kind of like it was hailed as a failure when it came out. Like people did not really care for this movie, and I don't really know why. I think I thought it was even better than Blow Up, maybe, but yeah, Zabriske Point, check it out. It's got a desert orgy, and
Right up your alley.
yeah. And like it's just all about like that streak of activism from that period, and it was also a contemporary film, so it feels very, if you like medium cool, it's kind of same wavelength as that. Another one of my favorite movies. But yeah, I guess does anybody else have anything I want to talk about? I'm kind of going a little bit looser this time around because I haven't been able to watch as much, so I don't know if I'll have a top 3, but
Wait, Phil, you want to
go? You have anything off the top of your head?
Yes.
Okay.
I had this prepared. I was ready to go. So I've been listening to a lot of It Happened in Hollywood when I work out. It's just like the second best movie podcast behind.
Thank you.
And they somehow got to talk to David Mamet, which is pretty crazy. They were coming their pants a little bit at the idea of getting to talk to him. And so I usually will listen to the interview and then watch the movie just to hear their frame of reference, because I remember I didn't like the piano teacher until I heard Michael Haneke's interview about it on the Criterion channel. And so it's just got me like really into listening to that before I watch the movie. And so they talked primarily about his play adaptation Oleanna, which have any of you guys watched that? Okay.
I actually haven't. I've seen a little bit of Mamet, but I'm not as well versed as I'd like to be.
So David Mamet is a brilliant screenwriter, of course. I mean, every white man will tell you that. It just takes a very specific taste. Yeah, you should listen to his thoughts about education. That's a big part of this, the interview that he did. But Oleanna is about it's a chamber piece too, which is really nice. I love a good chamber piece. William H. Macy plays a education professor at a college who has a student come to him complaining that she's failing the class and wants, extra credit or somehow to make up the credit for the class. And he agrees to teach her like after class to make up the credit if she will engage in conversations about like the educational system with him. And she accuses him of I should probably put in a warning here. She accuses him of sexual misconduct. And you just kind of see this professor's life fall apart over the course of this semester. And in the beginning, the roles reverse, where she comes in begging for his mercy and grading him. And then in the end, William H. Macy is begging the girl to recant her statement because he's lost his job and everything. Really, really, really intense. You really, it's touchy because you don't know who you're really supposed to root for in this, because you see the scene that she refers to as sexual misconduct. And obviously in today's standards, that would have been a huge red flag, immediate dismissal, depending what school you went to. UGA, they've probably been like, eh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
But so for a while, I feel like you follow the professor and you're like, the way she's responding to this feels more primal defense than it does feel like a logical retaliation. And I think that gets a little touchy, is because she comes from a lower socioeconomic status, and obviously she's having a hard time in the class, so she's not I don't want to call her dumb because she's not understanding this class, but she has a hard time with like vocabulary and stuff. So you're just kind of like, maybe this is rooted in some like lower brain anger that she's just manifesting into this. And then he wails on her. He beats the ever living shit out of this girl in his office. And yeah, because she becomes radicalized in school, which is kind of David Mamet's point, that like without the structure and rigidity, people like turn to these like radicalist ideals because there's no structure to like form themselves on. And she like leaves his classroom being like, don't call your wife baby, and he just like fucking throws her across the office.
Wow.
Sorry, that was a crazy way to end this.
No, that's okay. That's if I was ever gonna like watch him, well, when I do eventually like watch more Mamet, I would have never considered watching that one. So thanks for.
I know it's like kind of I don't want to say hidden, but not the ones that you would expect people to talk about. But I don't really like the dialogue run style that this movie has. Like they're just constantly talking over each other, and it starts at a 10, like opening up, they're just borderline yelling at each other in very aggressive defensive tones, and you're like, where can this go? Because you're already at your highest point. So I don't know, David Mamet is great, and has written some great books about screenwriting, but I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of his work put, in practice.
Have you heard of the David Mamet karate movie with Tim Allen, Red Belt?
No, I have not.
Or it's about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu actually, but yeah, that one looks sick. That's all I wanted to say.
That does look sick. That sounds amazing.
But yeah, like I find I've honestly seen more of his daughter's work than actually his own work, because I've watched all of Girls and she's a main character on that show. Her acting's horrible. I'm sorry, but that's all right. Maybe she'll be in one of her dad's movies one day. Would you say that the podcast that you listen to with Mamet, he went in deep on this film, right? That this was kind of the most of the discussion.
Yeah, so each episode kind of hones in on one particular work that the screenwriter, the actor, the director had worked on, but they do like kind of go all over their filmography, or David Mamet just kind of talked in general about his life and his experience.
Okay. Well, so, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I'm gonna check out our competition. Me and Fulton really do. I mean, I feel like me and Fulton only plug like 2 podcasts. Whenever we
Well,
talk, we plug the Important Cinema Club, the Will Sloan and Justin DeClue podcast, and then also Karina Longworth's You Must Remember This.
I think we've talked, or well, I may have brought it up in passing at the movies that made us.
Oh yeah, the movies.
The one with oh my God, how am I Joe Dante is one of the a host of that show, and I forget the other guy's name, but he's a really good. He's a good host too. I surprisingly don't listen to that many podcasts, honestly, which is weird because I guess it is a part-time job for us in some ways as being a podcaster, but
I'm too busy like watching movies, you know.
Getting chicks.
Yeah.
Too busy getting laid. Sorry, guys. I have to fill up like 10 hours a day at work. So I think I ended up listening to 140,000 minutes of content.
Podcast 43.
Yes. On Spotify this year. And it's just because I ripped through podcasts like no one's fucking business. Just because I had to pass the time.
Yeah, so. It's good because like when I would work, I would listen to podcasts when I'd like be doing things because like I wouldn't have to worry too much about like with music. I'm very particular about like, oh, is it sounding right? Like, is the quality gonna be? But it's like when it's a podcast, it's just somebody's voice. So I find that to be like the best time to like listen to things because it's just like you can just passively listen to them, and it's like, oh, do I have to hear the bass on their voice? Does it have to be perfect? Do you have to get the stereo vibe from So
as long as it doesn't sound like it's coming through like a tunnel, I'm good.
Oh, Fulton, do you have anything you want to talk about?
I know you briefly talked about. Yeah, I was gonna say I know we briefly talked about that one last episode, but we didn't go really that far in depth. But I think how would be the best way to phrase this? Me and Chris don't agree with Mark Wahlberg's political views, or maybe him as a person, or
Mark Wahlberg's a horrible person, like literally like one of the worst person that is acting, committed to hate crimes.
Could you say that about the person who would have stopped 9/11 had he been there?
Had he been there?
Had he been there?
But something that we've come to realize is that he does have quite the interesting screen presence, as playing as Chris describes him, I should say, as you said you called him a himbo, the best.
Oh, he's like the biggest himbo in the world. Like, I Emily, are you questioning my analysis of Mark Wahlberg?
I mean, when you say the biggest, what do you mean by that? Like most acclaimed, or like not acclaimed, but like the most present?
Well, it's just kind of, I guess I'd say like maybe the biggest. He's just a massive himbo, I guess is the way to put it. And he's also like, I guess he's like the biggest movie star himbo, you know?
Okay, I get what you mean.
Well, like, because me and Fulton watched I Heart Huckabees, the David
That's
O.
what
Russell
started
movie.
it all. Oh no, I guess Three Kings kind of started it, but then I Heart Huckabees cemented the idea.
Yeah, and so in I Heart Huckabees, Mark Wahlberg plays this character that's just like been completely like he's just been completely like black pilled, where he's just like the world sucks, and like we're not doing enough to save the environment, and like everybody's like horrible, but like he just sounds so completely like ignorant as he's just talking about all these things, and as he's like kind of laying into people about like driving a car and stuff. And it's just like really, really funny, just like how he delivers all these like lines about like telling his child that like life isn't worth living and stuff. He's like, yeah, life's not worth. He's like, how do you go to bed every night knowing that you drive a car, like, and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
And so
The
then,
dinner
like,
scene is a highlight. If
yeah,
you really want to see what me and Chris are grasping for, just look up the dinner scene for My Heart Huckabees. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like him yelling at one of my favorite character actors, Richard Jenkins, and they're just like going at it about like the environment. And and with the young Jonah Hill too, in one of his first roles.
I'm seeing Jason Schwartzman, so I'm intrigued. Anna Isabelle Huppert.
Oh, it's Isabelle Huppert is so good in this movie. She's just this insanely horny French woman that's like a nihilist.
Go. I mean, like, that's more or less who she plays pretty consistently.
Yeah, but in this one, she really wants to have sex with Jason Schwartzman.
Don't we all? Nothing you're saying is surprising me.
The film does have a weird. It looks like everyone's wearing a wig in that film. It's a little odd. I don't know. You might pick up on that. I'm interested to know if other people notice that too.
Speaking of Isabelle Huppert, I'm trying to think of a movie I watched with her somewhat recently. Oh yes. This was on the Criterion Channel for True Crime, which I ate that section of. That was really good.
Oh yeah. Have you seen To Die For? Because that's
yes, that movie was excellent.
That's the Gus Van Sant, right?
Yeah.
Sant. Jesus. My bad. We did a full episode.
You worried he's listening right now?
Yeah, Gus, I'm sorry.
No, Gus ain't listening to that.
What is Isabelle Huppert movie are you did you watch in the true crime section?
La Cérémonie.
Oh, that's isn't that Claude Chabrol?
Yes.
I believe. Yeah, that's a late Claude Chabrol film. Yeah.
It was really good. I really enjoyed, especially that character. I don't know, whenever Isabelle Huppert speaks, it feels like a stereotypical French accent. I don't know. Am I qualified enough to say that?
I think, yeah.
She just is so emphatic when she speaks that you can tell there's emphasis and emotion, which, I don't know, when you're not a native speaker to that language, everything kind of sounds monotone until someone's like really emphatic. And she always has this really beautiful cadence that she speaks with in that movie.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I've been meaning to. Claude Chabrol is like a giant blind spot for me. I feel like of those cahiers de cinema critics that kind of started the French New Wave, like people are always like, oh, Jean-Luc Godard, Francois Truffaut, and then it's like technically he was the first, like he made the first French New Wave movie, but yeah, I just never watched any of them. And a movie with Isabelle Huppert in it too. Consider me
she isn't the main character, but she is a pivotal character. So
okay. But I guess me and Fulton could briefly talk about Pain and Gain, which is an awesome movie. Just really, really cool and awesome. Is the best way I can describe it. I mean, it's not. I mean, so it's actually based off of something that is pretty messed up. Like, I'm not gonna beat around. I don't want to beat around the bush. Not gonna
sugarcoat it.
Yeah, but Michael Bay pretty much just makes the story of these three guys that kidnapped this rich, like this rich business magnate played by Tony Shalhoub in this movie, and they're like steal all of his money and stuff, and they're just like incredibly stupid. And that's like just pretty much the joke, is that they're just really, really dumb. And like that's another reason. And Mark Wahlberg in this movie is so funny, because he's like just this, like, yet again, he's just like this himbo that just like,
Bro,
all
if
he
you don't
cares
want it,
is-
you got to go get it.
yeah, bro,
You got to go for it.
go
Man.
get it. Mark Wahlberg is the type of guy in this movie, or is that archetypal guy that goes to those self-help conferences and eats up every single word of what the guy on stage is telling it.
Would he text like a student athlete?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, he's a
Took you
personal
second. I was
trainer,
nervous.
so-
I was like, is that too outdated?
Yeah, no, it's he would exactly text like a student athlete, and he just like a total meathead. And like and then like The Rock is really funny in this too, because he's like this ex-con that like found God and like is just super religious. And then yeah, Anthony Mackie is in it.
Oh wow.
But I don't know. It's one of my definitely up there in the great Michael Bay's.
I think when me and you were watching it, I don't remember if I said or you said it, but it definitely is a nice cap off of his Miami trilogy, which consists of Bad Boys 1, Bad Boys 2, and then this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And which hopefully if we get that Bad Boys 4, like is rumored for him to be returning, maybe it could be a good Miami quadrilogy.
Yeah, that's right.
But as of right now, it's a good cap to that. This movie is insane.
Just
Bad
like
Boys
shots
2 still,
of just like shots of just like bodies, just like ripped abs and stuff, just different angles. Michael Bay is going crazy.
Okay, but what's the soundtrack for those shots?
Oh, God,
it is a lot of hits from the 90s, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mostly all night, because it's based in 1995, so it's like pretty much all like 90s music.
No Marky Mark and the Funky Brunch though, unfortunately.
The Funky Brunch.
What's
Funky
it? Funky
Brunch.
Oh, Funky Bunch. My bad.
No, there is
place.
a restaurant, Emily, though, in downtown Savannah called the Funky Brunch
Funky
Cafe.
Brunch. See, that's
oh my
why.
God. And this one is not run by a cult, correct?
No, this isn't.
That's a different one.
Okay.
We'll have our own Savannah themed podcast.
Yeah, well, me and Fulton could do our spin-off podcast where we talk about the Savannah film.
Goodies.
Yeah.
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite ones that we've done. That one's still high up there.
But yeah,
back to Pain and Gain, my bad.
Oh no, it's okay. No, Pain and Gain's just really cool. If you like, I mean, I don't know, I just looked up the soundtrack, so it's not really too memorable, but you got some, Rolling Stones, you get Can You Hear Me Knocking? I remember that playing, and just, if you like Mark Wahlberg as an actor, then you'll really enjoy this movie.
Rebel Wilson's in there too.
Oh yeah, Rebel Wilson, like she's like really, her and Anthony Mackie like are really like into each other. That's a big part of it. But Anthony Mackie took too many steroids and he can't get an erection.
Okay.
And she's like, "Don't worry, I know how to get it working again."
No, where does that put her career-wise? When did
it's
Rebel
very early in her
This
career,
came out
I
like
wanna
the
say.
year after Pitch Perfect.
Oh,
Really? I thought it was, but wow,
Mhm.
okay. I thought it was before for some reason. Because I remember when the movie came out, I don't remember her being like that big. But I don't really know when she blew up. Did she blow up around? Was it Pitch Perfect?
I think,
Or was
yeah.
it okay?
Yeah,
Big.
speaking of Rebel Wilson, in I think probably April, senior year will probably be coming to Netflix. And if you want to see 1,000 signs that I handmade, that's a great place to go see that.
Oh yeah, just explain to the listeners what you exactly do, because you're in the industry.
Yeah, I'm kind of an expert in the industry.
Well, you're our Mick G expert at the moment.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I do know a little bit about him. I have seen him in person before. So I'm an art department PA. So for senior year, I was a set deck intern just because that was like my first gig through the Georgia Film Academy, which was really, really fun. And I only did that for about a month, but I did get to see Rebel Wilson within like a 4-foot distance, which I technically was not supposed to do. But what are you gonna do? Not go past Rebel Wilson? She was standing in the doorway. What was it?
Yeah.
It's her fault.
It's her fault.
She's asking for you to get in close proximity. Yeah.
I'm
Hey girl.
But I'm an art PA for another Netflix movie coming out, Uglies, which apparently won't be out for another year. So look forward to that. Christmas 2022.
Let's go. Yeah, we'll be tackling it on the podcast next year.
Yes, because I have some comments. I definitely do. But
well,
yeah.
all right. Yeah. Do you have anything else to plug? We like to ask people that, if you got any things that you're working on that you want to get the news out.
I mean, other than those 2 shows, which I will not get any royalties from if you watch them, not really. I think that's the only thing. I guess I should probably finally learn how to edit so I can get my short film together. I'm a little embarrassed. Okay.
No, I'm not insulted. I'm just saying, I know you've been talking about wanting to do it, and it is good. I really enjoyed the script, and I enjoyed working on it as the person as the sound person.
The sound clips are my favorite thing. When you there's just a bunch of footage of people being like, Chris, did you turn off the sound? And he's like, oh yeah, hold on. And that's the entire clip.
I listen. I'm a podcaster, I don't like to work on sets. I like them, but it's not my main skill. Yeah.
I don't know if that completely gets you out of the doghouse, Chris, because this is a mainly audio.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you thought you were doing that.
So if anything, it makes it more suspicious why you weren't on,
Oh, okay. Well,
but it's okay.
But we've
all been there.
It's look for it.
Yeah.
Soon.
I'll keep watching tutorial videos.
I guess for next week, which is going to be a while from when this is recorded, I guess. But that will give us plenty of time to tackle our next topic, which is the elusive subgenre of mumblecore, which was kind of a thing for a few years.
It is very funny that you bring this up, because on the way back home today, I did listen to the mumblecore episode of the Important Cinema Club that you sent me a while back ago. So I'm chipping away at it, but
isn't it
very timely?
So yeah.
So does that mean you're gonna watch Garden State?
I mean, is that really mumblecore though? I mean, I don't really.
It was.
It's more like kind of like indie, like just that type of like kind of like studio indie type movie that was I don't know how to describe what Garden State is, but it's like, I don't know, it's like quirky core, you know?
Quirky core. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fine. All right.
Yeah, but Hannah
Bring
takes
me
the
back when you talk
stairs.
about Garden State because I will defend it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Garden State's a movie that has people exchange a lot of words
People
about.
talk about it.
Yeah, people do. People talk about it. People really like to make fun of Zach Braff. It seems.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if they're talking about going in style, I understand, but I can't speak for any of his other stuff.
But yeah, next week, the main movie will be 2007's Hannah Takes the Stairs by Joe Swanberg, which stars Greta Gerwig and other mumblecore stars like Mark Duplass and Andrew Bajowski. But yeah, we're gonna try to cover some other ones too, because I don't know, it kind of spawned a lot of people that still make movies, but like nobody really talks about them. And I guess Alex Ross Perry is kind of broke out of that too, and kind of did his own thing. But yeah, it will be a lot of fun. So yeah, y'all have a good good Christmas. And yeah.
Happy holidays and
Stay away.
stay safe.
Happy holidays. Yeah.
I'm really tired. And I'm really hot. And I'm kind of drunk.
You know, I didn't tell you this today yet, but you look really beautiful in that mask.
How long was Franklin in Paris?
Jefferson went to Paris. That's why we have ice cream. Do you think I'm doing okay at work?
I think you're doing a great job. I think you are ridiculously bright.
Everybody's in love with the wrong person, and nobody actually like hears what anybody else is saying. Do you want to come up and meet my roommate?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
You guys know Hannah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where she is? I'm breaking up with you.
Have you ever felt like, is there something like manic about having crushes on people? Well, that's neat.